Good morning, Miss Leonard's class. This is supposed to be spring break, but you guys have been on spring break for a long time already. So Miss Leonard didn't have a lot of books picked out. She has one, and I will read that. And then I picked another book out from my collection of books that I think will be fun. And then we'll go back to Junie B. Jones. I hope everybody is healthy and safe and in doing whatever schoolwork that the school sends you and enjoying your time off with your parents and listening to your parents and having fun with your brothers and sisters if you have any. Keeping your room clean. I'm going to do a shout out for, I've got a group of kids who I invited to watch on Miss Leonard's thing. They're homeschooled. They're my Minion friends. Hi, Minion friends. So Miss Leonard's class. This is Riley's grandpa, and I will be reading to you for this week, and I hope you enjoy the stories. So let's begin. This is called The Legend of Beacon, the Bright Little Firefly. Okay, let's see what this story is about. Did you know fireflies love Independence Day? It's true, they do. But it wasn't always that way. Sounds like this might be a rhyming book. It all began a long time ago when a firefly named Beacon chose not to glow. I'm guessing that's Beacon. You see, fireflies had a rule they all had to obey. Every firefly had to glow exactly the same way. How boring. First on, then off, then count to 10, then on, then off, then start over again. Each firefly going along with the crowd because glowing your own way just wasn't allowed. But Beacon marched to a different drum. He thought flashing your tail light ought to be fun. He believed every firefly should have the right to decide when and where to light his or her light. So one night in the meadow, when it was time to glow, Beacon turned off his light and just said, "No." And when every other firefly shut his or her light, Beacon turned his on extra bright. So he's not doing it when everybody else is. It got so confusing that before very long, every firefly in the sky was flashing all wrong. And they all knew who started the trouble that night, so Beacon was grounded. He had to shut off his light. But Beacon knew he was right. He knew it through and through. And before very long, everyone else knew it too. The Holiday Hill Farm fireworks display takes place in the meadow each Independence Day. Family and friends gather round and spread bed sheets and blankets all over the ground. Then they ooh and they ah at the rocket's red glare and stare up at the colors that burst in the air. But that night when rain clouds came rolling by, no one could see the fireworks high in the sky. Farmer Hill told the crowd that for the first time ever, the fireworks would be canceled because of the weather. They don't look too happy. A little girl started crying. Other children did too. Beacon thought, I can cheer them up. I know just what to do. He flew high, he flew low, he flew fast, he flew slow. He flew onto that little girl's nose and started to glow. Then Beacon flew next to the boy and the girl down the row and performed his own little fireworks show. He started out flashing 2 dots and a dash, then flickered a little quicker, dot, 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 dash. Soon every child in every row was watching Beacon, the bright little firefly, put on a show. Wow. The other fireflies realized that Beacon was right. Every firefly should be free to light his or her light whenever they want, no counting to 10, no flashing the same way again and again. Then one by one, by one by one, they flew over to Beacon and joined in the fun. And for the finale, Beacon knew just what to do. He flew through the raspberries and the blueberries too. Then he flew back to the meadow, covered in goo. He turned on his tail light. It flashed red, white, and blue. The children all cheered as Beacon flew by, flashing his tail light high in the sky. So the strawberries, was it raspberries? What did he fly through? Raspberries and blueberries. He flew through berries and got their juice on his bum. And when the light went off, it made it colorful. So the next time you see fireworks light up the sky, imagine that they're Beacon and his friends flying by. And remember, freedom to Beacon means be who you are. You can glow soft and low, or you can shine like a star. But whichever you choose and whatever you do, the choice that you choose should be chosen by you. Wow, that's a fun book. And if you forget, don't get upset. Look out your window on a hot summer night and watch how differently each firefly lights his or her light. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that book with us, Miss Leonard. Very fun. This book I used to read to my little kids when they were tiny. And this is a book called A Pocket Full of Kisses. Mrs. Raccoon smiled tenderly. You are already really, really good, Chester, but I'm afraid no matter how good you are, we can't give him back. I thought you liked having a little brother. Oh, did I miss something? I started a little early, sorry. I missed a page. Let's start again. Chester Raccoon sat in the hollow of a tree stump, and pouted. Please, can we give him back? He asked his mother. I'll be really, really good if we can give him back. Mrs. Raccoon smiled tenderly. You're already really, really good, Chester. But I'm afraid no matter how good you are, we can't give him back. Besides, I thought you liked having a little brother. I did like it at first, admitted Chester, but now he plays with my toys and swings on my swings and reads all my books. Then he pulls on my tail and talks to my friends and follows me everywhere I go. I wonder if any of you have brothers or sisters like that. Mrs. Raccoon lifted Chester onto her lap and smoothed out his worried, furry forehead. That's what little brothers do, she explained in a very motherly tone. It's no different than sharing the woods or sharing the stream or sharing the food we find. Ronnie wants to be like you. Mrs. Raccoon placed Chester on the ground and smiled at him with soft, loving eyes he knew so well. I think someone needs a kissing hand, she said in a voice that was warm and inviting. She took Chester's hand in her own and spread open his tiny little fingers into a fan, and leaning over, she kissed him right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt the warmth of that kiss rush through his hand, up his arm, and into his heart, and when he pressed his hand to his cheek, he could hear his mother's word in his head. Mommy loves you, they said. Mommy loves you." Chester grinned so wide the tips of his silky black mask crinkled upward, even his cheeks flushed to a primrose pink. He was the happiest raccoon in the forest. Then, in the blink of a moment, all the joy went out of the little raccoon. His pink cheeks paled, and a stream of teeny hot tears fell down like spring rain on his sad little face. Even his silky black mask drooped as he watched his mother reach down, take Ronnie's hand, open his teeny fingers in a fan, and kiss his brother right in the middle of his palm. Oh. Chester thought that was only for him. "That was my kissing hand," Chester gasped in the saddest voice his mother had ever heard. "Why did you give Ronnie my kissing hand? Don't you love me anymore?" "Oh, Chester," cried Mrs. Raccoon, "of course I love you. Then how come you gave the baby my kissing hand?" asked Chester. Mrs. Raccoon gathered Chester up in her arms and gave him a great, big, comfortable hug. "I will never give Ronnie your kissing hand," she assured him gently. "That was his kissing hand. Now you each have one of your own." Oh, sorry, here. Chester wiped away his tears and settled in his mother's lap. "If you both give us kissing hands, won't you run out?" Mrs. Raccoon laughed. "Would you like to hear a story?" she asked Chester. "About kisses? About stars?" asked Mrs. Raccoon. "Every night before the sun goes down, it reaches out with its rays and touches every star in the universe. One by one, the stars light up and shine down upon us. Even on nights we can't see the stars. They're up there sparkling away. No matter how many stars fill the sky, the sun will never run out of light, and its rays will never stop reaching out to them. That's the way it is with kissing hands. When somebody loves you, their kisses are like the sun's rays, always there and always shining. No matter how many kissing hands I give you and Ronnie, I will never, ever run out." But you are right about one thing. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is Mrs. Raccoon. "But you're right about one thing," Mrs. Raccoon told Chester. Ronnie's big brother widened his eyes and looked surprised. "What's that?" he asked his mother. "You are the big brother, and that deserves something extra special." Mrs. Raccoon put Ronnie on a swing, then took Chester's right hand in hers, spread out his teeny fingers into a fan. Leaning over, she kissed him right in the middle of his palm. "That kiss is for your pocket," she told him. "Take care of it and keep it as a spare. You never know when a big brother might need a little extra care." Chester hugged his mother and romped away. "I love you too," he seemed to say. And that's the end. All right, that was very fun. So those were storybooks with pictures, right? So we didn't have to use our imagination that much because we could see who Chester looked like, who Ronnie looked like, who the lightning bug beacon looked like, and what the little girl who was at the fireworks, what she looked like. But now we're going to read Junie B. and the Sneaky Peeky Spying. If we remember, she saw Mrs. at the grocery store, remember? And she was at the grocery store with Mom getting ready to buy the cookie stuff to make cookies for the bake sale. So let's see what happens. Mrs. didn't see me. That's because I hid behind the water fountain, fast, speedy, fast. And guess what? She had a man with her. I never saw that guy before. Hey, who the heck is that? I said just to myself. Then I run my fastest to the cereal aisle to tell Mother what I saw. All of a sudden, I remembered about how she told me no more spying. And so maybe I might get in trouble with her, I think. That's how come I stopped running, and I started to go back to peek at Mrs. some more. But Mother already spotted me. Hey, come here. Where are you going? She called to me. Yeah, only I can't come there, I explained, because I just remembered something very important, and it's called I'm not done drinking yet. Then I run right back to the water fountain, only Mrs. and the strange man already disappeared. Shoot, I said, where did those sneaky Petes go to? After that I had to look all over the store for those guys. First I looked where the chocolate milk was. Then I looked where the spaghetti and tomato sauce was. I also looked where the delicious candy was, only guess where I found them finally. At the silly vegetables. That's where. I quick ducked down and hid it behind the corner. And then I did some sneaky peeky spying on them. I saw Mrs. picking out yucky plucky broccoli and stewy pewy tomatoes, and also that kind of vegetable named zucchini. Except for then, the strange man stretched zucchini right out of her hands, and he tried to put it back on the shelf. Only Mrs. grabbed it right back again, and she pretended to hit him on the head with it. And then they both started laughing very much. That's when a very terrible thing happened, and it's called Mrs. and the strange man did a big smoochy kiss. And it was in front of the whole entire everybody. I covered my eyes because that's what I shamed for her. On account of teachers shouldn't do that smoochy thing. After that I peeked my eyes between my fingers and saw Mrs. standing at the grapes. She picked up a bunch of the green kind. Then she pulled some grapes right off the top of it. And that's when the most terrible thing happened of all. Because just then Mrs. put the grapes in her mouth. She ate them. Mrs. ate the grapes. And she didn't even pay for them. Oh no, I whispered. I was very upset. Oh no, no. Because eating is the same as stealing, remember? And teachers aren't supposed to do stealing. Teachers are supposed to be perfecter than that, because they have to set a good example for little children. After that, I felt very sickish inside of my stomach, on account of Mrs. didn't even get caught and learn her lesson. Because nobody saw what she did. Not the store guy, not the strange man. Nobody. Nobody except for me. I didn't tattle on Mrs. That's because if I told Mother, I would get in trouble for spying. If I told the store guy, Mrs. might go to jail. And so I just kept it a secret inside my head, because nobody can see secrets inside your head, not even if they look in your ears. On Sunday, Grandma and Grandpa Miller came to our house for dinner, only I couldn't talk to them that much. That's because secrets are very slippery. And I didn't want it to slip out of my mouth by accident. Why so quiet tonight, Junie B? Said Grandma Miller at the table. Cat got your tongue? My mouth went wide open. What cat, Grandma? Is it the same cat that got killed by the ice cream truck? How come he wants to get my tongue? Did this tongue get squished in an accident? Grandma Miller made a face. Oh. Then she didn't eat her roast beef anymore. Mother looked surprised at me. You sure did get chatty all of a sudden. Does this mean you're not mad about the cookies anymore? And so then I remembered to stop talking, or else my secret might slip out. I squeezed my lips tight together, and guess what else? Even the next day when I was on the bus to school, my lips still stayed squeezed. Hi, Junie B, said my bestest friend Gracie. I did wave at her. That Gracie frowned at me. How come you're not saying hi? You have to say hi. It's the rules. Except for I still didn't say hi. And so then she called me the name of a big silly. And when I got to school, that Gracie told Lucille I was being a meanie. And so those two played horses all by themselves, and not me. That's how come I finally had to sing something very loud at them. I've got a secret, ha 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 ha, I sang. That Gracie put her hands on her hips. So, she said, we don't care, do we, Lucille? Except for just then, Lucille runned over to me speedy quick, 'cause she cared, that's why. If you tell me your secret, I'll be your best friend, she said. Yeah, only I can't, Lucille, I explained, 'cause if I tell you my secret, Mrs. might get in big trouble, and so I have to keep it inside my head. Lucille frowned at me. It's not good to keep secrets inside your head, Junie B., she said. My brother says keeping secrets inside your head makes pressure in there, and pretty soon your head blows up. My eyes got very big at her. Oh no, I hollered, just real upset. Then I holded my head tight in my hands, and I run very fastest to the nurse's office, 'cause she has Band-Aids to hold your head together, I think. My head's gonna blow, my head's gonna blow, I yelled at the nurse. She jumped up from her desk and hurried over to me. What's wrong, Junie B.? Do you have a big headache? She asked. No, I have a bad secret. It's about Mrs. Only I can't tell anybody, and now there's pressure in my head and I need a Band-Aid or else it's gonna explode. The nurse said, calm down to me. Then she put a Band-Aid on my head, and me and her went to the principal's office. Principal's the boss of the school. Me and him know each other very good. That's because I keep on getting sent down there, and so now I'm not even afraid of that guy. Principal sat me in a big wood chair. Good afternoon, Junie B., he said. What's the trouble today? Good afternoon, I said back. My head's gonna blow. The principal frowned his eyes at me. Why do you think that? He asked. I did a little bit of squinting, 'cause I got a secret in there, that's why, I said. The principal sat down at his big desk and he folded his hands. Maybe if you tell me your secret, I can help you, he said. Yeah, only I can't, I told him. Principal looked disappointed at me. But I thought you and I were pals, he said. We are, I said. I'm not even afraid of you. Principal did a chuckle. That's good. That's good, he said. Then why don't you tell me what's bothering you? That's when I did a huffy breath at him. 'Cause the guy wasn't listening to me, of course. Yeah, I already said I can't talk. Remember that? 'Cause if I talk, then I might accidentally tell you that my teacher stole grapes at the grocery store, and then she might have to go to jail, and so that's how come I just have to keep it a secret inside my head, and that's all. I smoothed my skirt. The end, I said. Then I squeezed my lips very tight together, or else my secret might slip out. Only guess what? It already did. All right, next week. I think we're going to finish it next week. Well, this is like 4 books we've read this year, guys. Yeah, we're going to finish it next week. And then, after this one, Mrs. Leonard said you guys were reading this one. So we'll finish this one after the Junie B. book. We'll start reading this one. So in 2 weeks, we'll get back to your Judy Blume book. And I'll have to read a little bit of it so I can bring you up to date and remind you what was going on with it. But I hope everyone is doing well. I hope that you guys are looking forward to next week and posting your own videos. Remember, Miss Leonard asked you to make your own videos and send them to her so she can see books and stories that you guys are reading. I know Riley did one because she sent it to me and it was wonderful. I'd like to see another one too. So maybe you guys can get together and send some videos to Miss Leonard, and if you want, you can send them to me too. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week, and maybe, I hope you liked the singing video. I might do that again, we'll see, if you guys liked it enough. Okay? Bye guys! Have fun, see you next week!